The biggest change which we are seeing between the OEMs, the partners, and the customers is the chain of value creation. Today, every single vendor, customer, and the OEM needs to create a value for himself and for his customers. That adoption is the biggest change we're seeing across the whole cycle which is happening in the market today. Earlier, from a regular reseller, everybody wants to become a value-added reseller today. You had resellers yesterday. Today, you have value-added resellers. The value-added resellers are moving up the chain to become solution sellers. So it is the same chain which exists for OEMs. It is the same chain which exists for partners. And so for our customers, because if our customers don't move up the value chain, their customers in turn do not see the value of doing business with them. Today, if you look at businesses, most of the business scale up happens because every businesses adopts new technology. They use these new technologies to enable not just their IT, but to drive their businesses. Now, once customers start doing that, the expectation from the customer goes to a partner to start exactly doing that. So the partners who were earlier the regular resellers, all the value-added resellers, have no longer just do that. They need to really move up the value chain and start adopting technology, right? They need to move up the value chain. So what Dell is basically doing is first ensuring that our customers who have been largely doing the nuts and bolts of selling a hardware, they need to really start selling technology. Today, if you look at technology as such, hardware largely, some of the platforms of hardware are largely incidental. A desktop, for example, is a bare bone today for most of our customers. But when you get somebody to implement new technologies, for example, when some customers start talking of a virtualized desktop infrastructure, that's where the partner has to bring in value beyond just selling the hardware. So what we are currently doing is enabling our partners with certifications. We enable our partners with trainings. We've created programs for our partners so that they are able to move up the value chain of selling desktops or laptops and solutions so that the customer starts seeing value in them. So the channel business has to graduate. I mean, let us all accept the fact today that channel business historically have looked at themselves as pure resellers. But in the current market dynamics today, every customer is looking at partners who have a value and not just partners who sell them a product. And that is where we expect and we want partners to move up the value chain where they create a value for partners and in turn value for themselves, because today the most important for a partner is not just driving his revenues but also his bottom lines. And that happens when you are creating a value in the solution which you are going to the customer that will create more business for the partner, that will create more bottom line for the partner. That's going to help the partners today. We run a partner direct program which is specifically running certifications to partners across the country. We've categorized partners based on each partner's capability, because there are partners who are down at the value chain and there are partners who are up the value chain currently. So we classify the partners in categorization of what their current abilities are and then specifically target a program which is specific to the partner's current potential and increase that potential upwards based on what his capabilities and scale is. Because end of the day, you need to have a pyramid where you have partners who are at the bottom currently and the partners at the top. You need to move each of them up to the levels what is relevant to that particular partner. That is exactly what we are doing. So the biggest problem for the industry is the adoption itself. Now, if you look at, you would have seen a recent article which spoke about adoption of automatic cars in India, right? It is the highest in South, for example, in compared to any other place within India. Now, adoption of any new technology is the biggest bane in the Indian industry itself. And South actually leads the way in terms of adoption. South is a largely IT mature market in comparison to most of the markets. So the first thing which most of our customers need to do and the industry needs to do is how quickly and how fast can the new technologies which are there in the market can be adopted by our customers. For example, if you look at cloud adoption, it is the lowest as far as India is concerned in compared to any markets across the globe. If you look at adoption of mobility, it is the lowest again in India. So most of the areas which are relevant to our business, whether it is social media, whether it is mobility, whether it is cloud or analytics, all the four parameters are very critical for Indian customers to really, or Indian enterprises to really adopt, so that they can go up the value chain and create value for themselves and increase their business. And that is the difference which the e-commerce industry has done in India. They've adopted largely most of the new technologies, which has really helped them scale the business in comparison to some of the brick and mortar companies in India today. That's the biggest change and the biggest gain as far as the Indian industry itself is concerned. The biggest disruption is analytics. Apart from what we mentioned about social media and cloud, mobility we've seen as a big disruptor. But my belief would be that the biggest disruptor is analytics, and the simple reason being that India has got the biggest customers in terms of pure population size. Second is the adoption of internet in India is currently at its lowest in comparison again to some of the very advanced countries across the globe. Now, if we are able to effectively use the kind of database we have within India, that will enable our businesses a lot more better. And for a simple example, I'll give you the example of a mutual fund industry today. Most of the mutual fund industry runs out of the major metros in India. 85% of the mutual funds come from your cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, most of these places. It is a very small portion which comes out beyond the markets of these major metros. Mutual fund itself adoption is hardly at 15% of the total tax-paying population today. So what it means is that if we are able to effectively analyze and use the existing data of our own customers, you will be able to improve the mutual fund industry itself. So effectively, I personally see that the disruption, the highest disruption that's going to happen is in the analytics space. Of course, you will have the related aspects around analytics because you will need social media, you will need mobility, you will need cloud to enable these, but the biggest disruption is going to be in analytics. I think the first and foremost important is our customers need to be enabled for analytics. It starts with our customers. If our customers start driving and using analytics, then you will start seeing them pushing our partners to start enabling themselves as far as analytics is concerned. So our first job as OEMs is very important that we enable our customers to start using this technology. Parallelly, we are going to work with our partners to enable them to understand the benefits of analytics to their own customers. But it all starts with our customers. If our customers do not use analytics in an effective way, you will never see the value coming down to a partner or an OEM to start learning that part of business.